Okay, welcome everyone. Hello. Welcome to Robotics X Tokyo. We are Robotics X Tokyo. I want to thank panelists, co-organizers, and the Wellham Girls School that came before us. They did a really excellent job designing their own robots. So if you haven't seen them, please check them out in the back. They were here for 9 days in Japan, and they went from basically almost no knowledge of the culture and very little robotics education to making their own robots thanks to the help of their great mentors and teachers and parents who came. So please check that out. So I want to introduce our panel tonight. So we are doing Robotics Extreme education, and it's not extreme education as in like jet skis and hang gliding. It's Robotics X Stream. So Stream is science, technology, robotics, engineering, art, and math. So normally you've heard STEM a lot. Maybe you hear STEAM education, but we are thinking about Stream as well. I'd like to introduce our panel. So Ms. Chiaki Ota from SoftBank Robotics, and we'll do individual intro slides later. Mr. Abi Hamed from Tokyo Coding Club, and Yuki Igawa from Dr.Tech, and then Kaz Ogawa from Terakoya program. Yep, and I'm Mike Sudano. So let me just come over here and tell you about Robotics X Tokyo very quickly. So recently we hit 1,000 members on Meetup, which is insane because it was totally organic. I didn't pay any bots to do that. But yeah, we started about 3 years ago as kind of inspired by Silicon Valley robotics in Silicon Valley. I used to run events out there and then started doing them with some organizers out here. And we grew to 1,000 members. So we have a Meetup, a Discord, and a LinkedIn. Everyone's invited to join. The LinkedIn is a private group. I don't know why I did that, but still you can request access and join. It's hard to change after the fact. But Meetup is the main way. Okay, so now I'd like to hand it over to Chiaki-san to talk about Pepper for education and her job at SoftBank Robotics.
Hi, hello. Thank you for coming, everyone. And hi, I'm Chiaki Ota, today's moderator. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And now I'm working for SoftBank Robotics, one of the company of SoftBank Group. And I am in charge of Pepper for education. Pepper is like salt and pepper, but a kind of humanoid robot. Color is white, and it is work with easy programming tool like Scratch, maybe you all know. And then we do provide this robot to schools in all Japan, like elementary school to high school. So that is why now I am here today. So I'm very happy to talk with you today. Thank you. So, as a moderator, I need to pass my mic to next one. Is you okay? Okay. Let me introduce for my work just quickly. This is the contest we hold every year. The contest name is called Stream Challenge. Maybe you know the word STEAM. But we added R on that. So making with R, it's called Stream Challenge. R is for, of course, it's for robotics. And also it's for reality and it's review. So the school kids can do programming with the human robot Pepper. And plus, they can adjust the robot in the social world, not only in the school class. So they do check how robot works in the real world with their programming, and also they review themselves and do the PDCA by themselves. That is why the Scratch, the easy programming tool, works with that. So and then this is like they do a program with Like the left one is convenience store. They have many foreigners to the store, and the store staff don't speak English. Then robot works to help the store staff. That is the example. So there are many programming programs, many ideas which are introduced to the social world in the real. So that is my quick introduction. Thank you. Then Yuki-san, please.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Nice to meet you. My name is Yuki Igawa. I'm a Dr.Tech CEO founder. And my school is, how do I say, international or kids school. And we deliver the students that English, programming, and financial literacy. Actually, I believe this is a first approach in Japan. We combine these three skills. So teacher use only English, then we teach English in English, and we teach programming, maybe the coding, and the math as well. Also, this is the first challenge in Japan. We are teach financial literacy as well. This is very important in the future life. And the student is age 4 to 12 years old. I mean, the very little student, a very little child. And we just believe this is a course, but this is a skill that the students can learn. But at the same time, we really believe that the core, before any skill, we nurture the whole child. That basically personal coaching and heart-centered care. This is our core. So based on these core, we teach English programming and financial literacy. So, and thank you very much for this great opportunity to be here. I'm so honored to part of these great members, and I'm very looking forward to today's discussion. Thank you very much.
Abi, next. Hi.
Yep. Hello. My name is Abi Hamid. I've been in Japan for about 15 years now, originally from the UK, and well, as a teacher, I've been working at a company called Tokyo Coding Club, as you can see here, which was actually founded at the same time when I joined around 9 years ago. All right. So Tokyo Coding Club actually came out of another company called Tokyo Academics, which has been around for a lot longer, around 12 or 13 years in Tokyo. And the difference is that we're focused more on the idea of teaching children with applied and more sort of, let's say, aspirational subjects, which they might want to explore as a potential thing that they'll do in their futures. Obviously, there are a lot of schools in Tokyo right now teaching in English, but they tend to focus mainly on academic subjects, such as mathematics, English, science, that kind of thing, which they'll be attempting to help children to gain good grades with and entry into universities or colleges. But we thought there would be an opening for this kind of a subject where kids might have an idea that they'd like to try working with technology that they don't normally have access to all of the time in their regular schools. Stuff like, for example, video editing or let's say game design, programming obviously is one of the core subjects we work with, and also robotics. When I talk about robotics, obviously a few people here are going to be very interested, this being Tokyo X Robotics, right? Robotics as a subject is a little bit special because it's more hands-on, I would say. It's a lot more hardware-oriented than most of these other traditional digitally based tech subjects. And that is also a unique experience for a lot of kids who may not necessarily have had an opportunity to work with 3D printers, for example, right? You can see one of the pictures that I have up there is a big group event that we did at GIIS, where we took about, I think, maybe 5 or 10 printers with us, just so the kids could actually have a go at them and see how they work and how easy it can be for them to have an idea and then kind of just build it in the same class, right? So I feel like this is a kind of unique experience that we bring to the educational scene in Tokyo. Yeah. So yes, just thank you. Just to just show you one more thing, there's a really nice video that we had as a promotional video a couple of years ago that was made by one of my personal students, and it's so good, and I think it kind of sums up what we do so well that I wanted to share it here with you guys. Thank you.
Sorry, let me just confirm that we can also share the audio here. Audio sharing output. All right, let's hope we can hear that. I have an idea.
Hello, my name is Soya Minji. Today I'm going to show you the project that I've been working on for 1 year. So the project I've been working on is called the Lego cleaning robot. After deciding on the holonomic design for several different reasons, one was that it was going to be very easily maneuverable, and that another one was that it was going to be quite useful for our robot. Using the Pew method, we decided on one of the robots, the original, which looks very similar to a vacuum robot. We went on with that design for Hello, my name is Soya Minji. Today I'm going to show you the project I've been working on for 1 year. So the project I've been working on is called the Lego cleaning robot. After deciding on the holonomic design for several different reasons, one was that it was going to be very easily maneuverable, and that another one was that it was going to be quite useful for our robot. Using the Pew method, we decided on one of the robots, the original, which looks very similar to a vacuum robot. We went on with that design for quite a long time, but then we were faced by one of the most difficult problems in robotics: obstacle avoidance. And so after some brainstorming, we came up with several other designs: the bulldozer, the forklift, and the jumping robot. After a short period of coding, we started testing the robots. That is where we are today. Throughout this entire process, I learned a lot about not only robotics and coding, but about life lessons too. And that is that most things are easier said than done, and that there is so much more to be learned if I want to actualize my dream. Thank you once again for everything you have done for me. All teachers I've had at TCC were always welcoming and supportive. The teacher I had for the past year tried to make his lessons as fun and as entertaining as possible. He liked to challenge me, and I really enjoyed it too. Over time, he has become my mentor, teacher, and also a friend. Even when some topics were really hard to understand, he took the time and effort to explain it to me until I fully understood the topic. I am very grateful for that.
Thank you, Mike. So that was So, and he was one of like special students. He was about 9 years old at the time, and that was about 4 years ago. He's actually gone to America now to study. He got a scholarship from the Sun Foundation. So yeah, he's done very well. But we've had maybe about 100 kids now through the doors since that time, right? So yeah, things like that make me super proud to do what I'm doing. And yeah, I hope I can have a good contribution to your talk today. And thank you for the opportunity. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Abi.
Next, Kazu-san, you ready?
Hi. My name is Kazuki Ogawa. Just please call me Kaz. Mike, once again, thank you for having me to this wonderful event tonight. Just to bit of introduction about myself. I've been engaging with executive search and headhunting business for the past 17 years. Have helped thousands of engineers' career, and also I've met thousands of engineers, business and technology professionals, and also companies who are actually developing the actual product, creating innovation to the world. And my connection with Mike actually started with my other activity called Terakoya program here. It's the career education platform that we deliver to the public school across Japan. And if you know the concept of Terakoya, I think you can imagine what we do, because probably near 18th century, Japan had a very advanced education system called Terakoya, whereas somebody like monks, priests, doctors, even merchants, they were actually the teachers teaching the kids how to write, how to read, how to calculate. And we are bringing this concept into the real world, whereas to compensate what teachers actually cannot teach to the students, and that we actually implement this activity across Japan. So the main two pillars as our curriculum of Terakoya is two things, career education and also digital citizenship, which includes nowadays usage of AI, AI ethics, including how to deal with digital society. Yeah, so here is some of our partnership example. We have partnered with Tokyo Metropolitan Government last year to conduct this event called for the junior high school students. And also we've done some corporate partnership with the company called Money Life Insurance. They're the Canadian insurance company teaching the kids about financial literacy, as well as we've done some work with Apple Japan for about career development program that they provide. And I think it's very small, but there is Mike over there on the picture on the left-hand side. We design and deliver the career education class, which let the student experience what the job of a robotic engineer looks like. It was a very good class that we did together for twice. And yeah, if you go to the next slide. If you could go next slide. Yeah, so we also deliver some class for University of Shiga. They're the national university, Faculty of Data Science Division. It was a 2-day program that we taught the student how to select their own career, how to develop career, not just concerning about like which company they enter, which school they graduated, but what they actually want to achieve in their lifetime career. If you go to next. So this is our recent track record. We delivered the class to 6,300 students, 3 corporate sponsorship, and also we have 45, including Mike, participating coaches to this program. So today, I think we can give a bit of insight about what's happening in the public school in Japan nowadays. So I'm very looking forward to have some good conversation with you guys today. Thank you.
All right, and I'm going to kick it back over to Chiaki-san for our discussion points and let everyone just kind of flow, which is kind of the point, just to bring together geniuses in this area. So take it away, Chiaki-san.
Okay, we have 1 hour today in total, but almost half time was spent to introduction. So we have 30 minutes left, and we want to divide the left time into 3 parts. The first one is the current situation of STEAM or STREAM education in Japan, and the second one is our approach to the education in Japan, and the third one, lastly, we want to talk about the future of the Japan education. And so for the first part, let's talk about the current situation of Japan education. And so I want to ask you, Yuki-san, when you started your business, or when you are running your business currently, how do you think about the situation? And also you know about the education in abroad, right? So comparing to them, how do you think about it?
Okay, thank you very much. That's a very big question, actually. the day before yesterday, I just came back from the Kuala Lumpur, and I'm a little bit exhausted right now. But I visited some language school and international school to see the situation related to not only, for example, English, but also the science or technologies as well. And also, last year, I was a volunteer at public elementary school, and as a, how do I say, as a kind of interpreter of the English teacher, I mean the native English speaker at school, because the teacher cannot, and it was quite difficult to communicate with the teachers. And actually, this is why I established my own school in Bunkyo, Tokyo, here right now. It has been almost 6 years. I realized that when we think about the children and in the future, what really I need as education. Of course, we really need a Japanese, mathematics, social society, science, and physical education, and so on. But at the same time, these days, everything has moved on to the very, very rapidly. And if we don't change anything about the education, maybe there's some children who had no chance to have learned about for example, technology or some other skills, it should be a little bit problem. That's why I established my own school. And go back to this question. Of course, we have a very great culture, for example, monozukuri culture and so on, and I'm really proud of my culture. At the same time, if we combine this kind of tech culture and technology, it's going to be great, and maybe our kids can have a great future. And yeah, so if I dare to say to the Japanese education about the Japanese education, if the children has more chance to have experience related to AI or technology, of course, including the robotics, it's going to be split their own way of thinking or something like that. Yeah, is that a good answer? I'm not sure, but thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And listening to that, Avi, how do you think? Where did you have your education in your school age, and then now you're teaching, and how do you think about in comparison?
Yeah, okay, so obviously when I was doing my education was a long time ago. So things have changed quite a lot. And in particular, obviously, as I came from the UK, the culture is quite different, obviously, right, as well. I have to say, as a teacher now, my experience of the new generation of children growing up in the modern society and how maybe the comparison between the UK culture and the Japan culture is, I would say it's quite interesting that there's quite a lot of commonality these days between how children behave. And I think that a part of that is because of the kind of influence of social media and that kind of stuff. The spread of information and culture has become that much easier, right? So I don't actually see too many changes in behavior or attitudes now when I compare to children back home to children here as a teacher. However, I would say that obviously one of the problems that people face nowadays is that, as our fellow said earlier, the pace of technological change is so fast that people don't really know how to focus their education in a efficient or useful manner. Well, I'd say it's not that they need to be educated and have a system in place for them, but I think that the systems are struggling to catch up with the rate of change, right? So comparing here to the UK, I think it's hard for me to say, as a position that I'm in doesn't really allow me into the mechanics of how educational systems are run here. But it just seems to me, from a teacher's perspective, maybe they're relying on specialist schools like us to bring them the broader picture, because traditional schools aren't doing that at the rate that they should be, perhaps. But that's just really my point of view. Yeah. I can't say anything better than that.
Okay, great, thank you. How do you think, Kazu-san?
Yeah, okay. I can talk about it from the public school situation in Japan context, but I think Japanese public education system now are facing two major challenges, I would say. One is the fact that the teachers' knowledge and experience have not been updated to the world where we live in today. One example is that during the COVID-19, the digitalization has accelerated drastically. Each student received tablet. They bring that to the home. It was digitalized. It was a good thing. But even though the Ministry of Education set the guideline of how to conduct the programming class or even how to utilize the digital equipment, it has not been transferred to every single teachers equally. Therefore, what I witnessed in one school is that it was one school in Kochi Prefecture. It was a sixth grade elementary school. So I went to one classroom, let's say sixth grade A. This young teacher is very active using the digital equipment. They ask the student, why do you think so? Okay, let's get to the group. Don't hesitate to, come up with your answers. But on the other hand, in class B, where this old teacher, he's just making students quiet. Every single students are, showing their tablet. One guy is doing like internet surfing. One kid is just, doing the very simple scratch programming, like one animal like moving right to the left forever. One kid is even sleeping on the table. So this kind of inequality is happening everywhere in Japan. So I think we need to provide the equal, training program to public school teachers. First of all, I think that's the first and foremost that we should tackle on.
Yeah. We need to first to educate the teachers, and then after that, the school kids are taught.
I think we're on the same page.
With the steps. Yeah, and also catching up the new latest technology is hard, like Abi said, and Japanese education see the equality very important. So when we talk about the stream or technology, the personality or creativity would be set importantly, so the balance would be difficult, right?
I completely agree, and I think the other challenge the Japanese education system is facing nowadays is the fact that the traditional Japanese education system focuses on memorization. And also, the main objective is to pass the school entry examination. So it was simply about memorization. And it was a good part of Japanese education, but they mainly taught the children how to be punctual, how to work in the organization. Don't be too much on yourself, but just read the situation. Those are the things that Japanese education taught to the children back in the day. But speaking of the robotic engineer, first of all, you should not afraid of taking the bold ideas. You should not be afraid of failures. You should always ask yourself why you come up with such answers. But those things are not being taught in the Japanese public school scene. So I think that's one of the reason why if Japan is somehow a little bit behind in terms of robotic education.
See, so now the three of us, including me, four of us, are aiming to teaching how to realize what they want to do in their way, in their own way, I guess. And that's our current situation, right? Abi, any addition?
I just have a question or something to add there. I'm just curious. Obviously, this is our opinion, I guess, as educators. You guys, I think, are a little bit more knowledgeable about how the system works than I am. especially as you're probably, well, definitely much more in touch with the Japanese side again than I am. So I'm quite curious about the points that you make. Are they shared by teachers and educators in general in Japan, or is this just our ideas here because, we're at the kind of the point of we need to change, making the point of we need to change education in Japan. So is this a general sense that every teacher or educator shares, would you say, or is it just a few like us?
Yeah, thank you, Abby. I think many of the stakeholders in education field in Japan are starting to realize the importance of, let's say, optimizing or updating the older education system. But as a matter of fact, they're just realizing the issues, but none of the concrete action has been made, I would say. Therefore, I'm not here to promote our activities, but Chiachi-san's activity in the public school, or our connection with professionals or companies delivering the secondary curriculum to compensate the the knowledge that teachers don't have would have more impact to update the kids, the students' knowledge to this stream domain for the future. Did I answer your question correctly?
Kind of. I mean, I think the point that you're making is about, as you said, stakeholders, right? I still feel like that subsection of the society is probably a thin section and doesn't represent a more general feeling among the society. So when we talk about challenges of education in Japan, I feel like this is like a whole of Japan societal level thing that probably extends beyond a few stakeholders and people with invested interest in education to government level perhaps, right? So I know it's kind of pushing into maybe slightly dangerous territory here, but am I allowed to ask you, do you feel like Japan on a societal level feels the same way that we do in general, that the educational system needs reform in the way that we're suggesting?
I think so. The discussions are going on the government level, and I think recently Minister of Education has issued the education guideline for 2030. I think Yuichi-san knows, and it is clearly stated that this, especially in the domain of STREAM education, the class should be provided to every single student in the public school. So I think it's awareness of concerns, shared concern to government level. But the fact is that when it comes to implementation, it's all left up to every single school. Rather, it's all left up to every single teachers that run the classroom. So I think that's a very big challenge that, if we are to deliver the authentic class to every single student, I think it's very big obstacles that we need to really think of.
Good?
Yeah, thank you, sorry.
Yeah, okay. Then, our talking is gradually shifting to section number 2. And because we cannot change the government or policy just on tomorrow. So we are going the small steps. And let's talk about how we approach to the Japan education. So who do you want to start? Or maybe Yuki-san, you want to start?
Okay, and I was listening the first talking about the education, and basically everyone believes that how they say, everyone wants the children to have a great future. That's no doubt, and everyone noticed that it's a timing of changing about the education system in Japan. So generally, when we speak about the education, maybe we focus on the government situation. It means we see the public school. And when we see the public school, it's totally different from international school. That's why some parents want the children to go to the international school in Japan. But anyways, when we see the public school, I think maybe everyone knows this, maybe STEAM education, robotics, and financial literacy, blah, 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 very important. Everyone knows. Of course, there are homeroom teachers as well. But why we cannot move on to the next step is not because of the Japanese government, but probably I believe that the teacher has no time, very busy. They are very busy. That's why, of course, teacher also or would like the children to learn a lot, not only Japanese society, something like that, but of course the homeroom teacher wants their students to have a more opportunity to have experience with paper-kun or some other situation. But anyway, everyone has the same 24 hours. We have a limited. So include in 24 hours, what we as a first priority, what we have to do is we have to follow the guideline made by Japanese government. That's why Japanese classes are 15 hours per week or something like that. So, of course, Chiaki-san told us that we cannot change the Japanese government system, but what we do is probably, in my case, around me, if the children pass through my school and they are curious about my school, I want the children to have a great experience to use the tablet and learn the English spelling with tablet and something like that, not 10 times writing practice or something like that. So to make children have a great opportunity, we serve, not only we, but we serve some different type of education. So that's my dream right now, to every student have equal opportunity to related to the technology, and this are, how do I say, this AI driven era. Yes. Thank you very much.
So yeah, I kind of already spoke about it in my introduction, of course. I'd say TCC probably represents one of those, what would you call it, like an interruption in the traditional form of education that's available in Japan, obviously, right, as foreign, basically, originated company. But with that, obviously, comes a different approach and philosophies of teaching that you guys must be aware of. So it does introduce new ideas, I feel, to the culture. And I think that these types of things, like organizations like us, will become more and more, inevitably, common as time goes on, right? Through basically the accumulation or the increase of the amount of people having this mindset and the amount of foreign people coming into Japan anyway, right? These kind of things, I feel, progressively just happen over time. Hopefully, obviously, the kind of things that we bring in will help to give, like, the best ideas coming from abroad a chance to spread in Japan as well, right? Different ways of teaching and different philosophies, right? And I think that's one of the things that a company like ours helps with. And I'd say another thing perhaps is, TCC, as I said, it kind of does try to encourage students who are interested in having hands-on experiences with tech that they wouldn't normally get direct access with in regular schools. And that's our approach really as well. Like our main idea is let the kids try something out and just see what they like, right? And that's something that I don't think happens so often traditionally, again, right? And yeah, a lot of kids, obviously, they resonate with that sort of thing. They get to use their imagination and just let their creativity be expressed. So I think all these things are helpful in our approach.
Great, thank you. And Kazu-san, your approaches?
So in our TerraQuea program, Mike, if you remember, when we designed the class, we designed the class to ask kids the question, why do you think so? We ask a lot of why questions. And we also set the rule to telling the kids that, so don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Just, try on your idea, whether the idea is bold or meaningless to somebody else, just try it on. That's the core message that we deliver.
Yeah, two of the key rules that I remember is that we told them, don't ever be afraid to speak up. Always, just jump in, give your ideas, and then work as a team. Don't just keep your ideas to yourself. Try and get it out there. And again, don't be afraid of failure, which is antithetical to how I think generally Japanese children are taught. Yeah, so we just try and pull them out of that sort of hole in a sense. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because failure is not the end. It's start of innovation. It's start of everything. So that's the key message and approach that we take.
Then, do you see any change of the kids, like in a year, after asking why again and again? Do you see the change of the kids?
Yeah, Jackson, definitely. First, the kids look a little bit hesitated, a little bit shy to come up with his or her own answers. But we never show them the concrete answers because nowadays, especially in this era of AI or software, there's pretty much not right or wrong. So we first of all accept any opinions, any answers that come from the students, and in the end, they gradually, start becoming, coming up with their own ideas without hesitation, without, afraid of making failures.
Great. And in your class, yes. And then out of the classes, do you know any idea of the kids' change?
That's the challenge that we are facing right now, because right now our focus is to actually deliver the TerraQuea program to as many students as possible across Japan. So we need to work on the continuity to actually monitor what actually happened or what kind of impact the classroom provided to the kids in the later years. So that part we're still working on it. But I hope it gives them some good occasion to think about themselves, think about their careers, think about what they're actually good at.
True. That's what we want to see. And Yuki-san, any comment?
Actually, my school is a little bit different approach from the two of you. But for example, when I think about my childhood, I really didn't like to speak something in front of the audience. And if the teacher forced me to do, I really asked my mom that I don't want to go to school and something like that. So when we think about each person's personality, I think sometimes it's going to be very difficult. So how do you control or manage the kind of situation?
So I just want to jump in with a quick question. So it sounds like it goes beyond just the educational system or the teachers, but it sounds more like a sort of cultural upbringing where you don't want to speak up, because this is even before school. So you're saying that if the teacher does want to elicit a response, that you didn't want to do that. So, of course, education and cultural blend, indelibly. But it's interesting that it goes even beyond initial education, I guess, parental education and culture as well.
Thank you very much, because we are focused on not only the skills but also the core. So that's why. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's true. Individually, kids' difference so varied. And also, we are going to the next section, future of our education. Yeah, just we are talking about that already, but let's move on to the next section. Yeah, the future of Japan and our hopes for the next generation. Yeah. Yeah, we are talking, but let's go into the deep. And where do you want to start? Who do you want to start? Yeah.
As I have a mic. But anyway, I think what I really like to tell is that Japanese education system in the past had a lot of good aspects in a sense which brought Japan after the World War II brought up to the advanced economic country that are such as the past Japanese education system taught the student to be very punctual, very accurate, respecting others. A lot of time was spent to teach the student the human morality, and I think we should leave those kind of good aspect of traditional Japanese education system while optimizing the system or curriculum to be able to catch up with the this kind of stream expertise that other countries are actually implementing. So I think we should find a good balance or combination between good part of Japanese old education system together with what we can tell to the kids in the this era of AI or software. I think that's a very important point for the future Japanese education system.
Yeah. True. And yeah, Abi, you look like you want something. You want to say something?
Specifically to his point, to be honest with you, it's a similar sort of vein of thought, though. Obviously, we've all been talking today about how we'd like to have a wider range of way of thinking about how education should be perceived in the Japanese system. I think strategies, implementations that you guys are doing definitely have awesome value, and hopefully, it will benefit Japan long term. Hopefully, obviously, as much as possible. I think from our perspective, a school like TCC, I'd say maybe the one thing I could say about something like this is that I mentioned earlier, we are seeing that the society in Japan is changing a little bit over time, and inevitably because more foreign people have to come into the country, inevitably. And that means that education, which is a little bit more, how do I say, global facing, maybe, something which sort of takes into account the way of, I guess the culture of children from abroad, as well as obviously the existing culture in Japan. If that kind of thing can be a little bit more well integrated in future, that would be amazing, obviously, right? I think a school like TCC, there's only a couple of them, but maybe they'll become more common over time. But I hope to think that a school like ours would help to bridge that cultural difference as well.
Yeah, Yuki-san, we want your comment.
Thank you. Actually, I made a lot of memos what I want to say today, but through today's discussion, and to make our environment is our job, not children, because children cannot make their own learning environment by themselves. So our adult has to make a great environment. And environment means I realize if there are a lot of opportunities or maybe choices, maybe children or parents can let them go to, okay, this school, okay, maybe this school is also nice or something like that. If there are so many options, maybe it's going to be a great education environment. So maybe one of the option is my school or Terakoya-san or Tokyo Coding the school or some other international school or public school. It depends on what we serve, the different type of education. And mainly, probably, if we think about this AI-driven era, technology is the most important thing, one of the most important things. And when we when we think about children's curiosity, maybe robotics is the best. Probably, I can imagine once the children see the paper, maybe their eyes shining and their curiosity is spread away. Oh, maybe in the future I want to make a robot, something like that. That's a very good environment, I think. So, from now on, probably what we do for the next generation is to organize a great environment for education. Yes,
Great. Thanks for your comments. And true. Once, just a few months ago, I met a guy, university student guy, and I was so impressed. He was in university in science course, and in very latest science. But he just said in his junior high school age, he met a humanoid robot for the first time. He is coming from deep in the mountain, but he was so surprised with meeting the robot, and then he changed his course in the future. Then now he is in the science course and taking the science job coming the next year. So it's very rare for me to rare to see that kind of person. But in the future, I hope to see many kids like that. That is maybe our hope for the next generation. So, as time is short, we need to conclude our discussion, and let's move to the QA session.
Actually, since we are pretty much exactly at time, I think we might skip the QA section,
okay.
unfortunately. But I encourage everyone to go meet all of our panelists afterwards and talk to them. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to everyone, and also to say that this is only the first or maybe even second or third we've done education. I am getting more into education now, thanks to Kaz, of course. And I really like to do more panels specifically because it seems like the education topic, obviously it transcends robotics. This started as a robotics X education. So we were thinking of, how might we use robots in the classroom? How might it be, more technically focused for robots? And we completely dug up the root cause, and now there's still more to explore with how we can use robots to fix this. So I definitely want to do more of these in the future. So thank you, everyone, for coming. Please talk to them afterwards for sure. And then also, I wanted to say thank you to Tokyo Dev. We have pizza being served over there. And I wanted to give priority to RxT audience, and especially the visiting students from India and other students. So if you're watching this, go over there to grab some pizza. Try and just get one slice. And also check out Tokyo Dev, who sponsored us today. So thank you to Paul McMahon and Tokyo Dev. And please check out our archives on YouTube. Join our Discord. I didn't put YouTube up here. I probably should have. Join our Discord, LinkedIn, Meetup, and look out for our next events. Again, thank you so much, very much to Chiaki Ota-san for a really great moderator, to Abi, to Yuki, and to Kaz. Thank you so much.